Smith and MacArthur make some time for Cowboy Boys.
Welcome to Cowboy Boys Podcast.
Yo, 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 yo,
Special
yo,
edition. Special guest, Matt Joseph.
That's me.
You're not a comic. And a lot of people are going to be mad about that. Because a lot of people are like, when do
I'm gonna tell your fans, the people who listen to the show, what I told a Little Times fans. Fuck you. Who gives a shit, dude? I don't care if you're fucking mad at me. I don't give a shit.
Well, here's why you're on the podcast today.
Uh-huh.
Two things went very right.
Yeah.
I already know you.
Yeah.
So
that makes it easier.
So I'm like, okay, that's really good. Two, you're already in my house. So if you're already here, I already know you. I'm like, well, if you want to be on, let's do it. Let's record an episode.
Absolutely. I mean, dude, I talked the entire time I've been here.
Yeah.
So why not put it to tape?
That's the third thing, but it's not necessarily a requirement, is you have the gift of gab.
Yeah. I definitely would call it a curse.
Yeah?
Dude, I talk too fucking much. But in a way that's kind of worked out for me my entire life, being a fat guy and like especially trying to talk to women because they're not attracted to me. But okay, I could talk to them. I'm just treating them like normal people and having a normal conversation with them, and there's no dull moment where they have a moment to think like, why the fuck am I talking to this ogre, dude?
They can't let their female instinct, their intuition be like, don't, but you're just wooing them. And
yeah, woo, that's an interesting word for it, but I'm definitely telling them about like battle bots. I'm definitely like trying to like let them know a little bit of information about me without scaring them off, but I just keep going. I keep talking.
When I talk to women, firstly, we were at dinner with a woman earlier, and I said some things.
I think we were at dinner with two ladies, but whatever.
Okay. But I feel like I'm not, my problem with women is I'm not like, I can't, all right, I'm in a situation, I can't say, at the beginning of the conversation, when we were getting dinner, I'm like, I don't know this woman, I have to feel the vibe first.
Absolutely.
Because if
she also does not talk very much. So,
okay, but I'm just saying, in general, over the years, I've learned, don't talk like how you talk normally, Mac, because that gets me in trouble. And if it was just me and someone, I don't care. They get the full me.
Yeah,
I'm on first dates being like, what do you think happened to the Island Boys when they were young? Like, and they're like, what? I'm like, oh, let me tell you.
I gotta pull up some videos really quick. Hold on.
Do you think Amelia Earhart was eaten by all those hermit crabs?
Do you think Temple Grandin really had a developmental disorder, or she was just a bitch?
Just stuff like so. But I usually, if it's a friend of a friend, I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
I have to be nice because I like this person.
Yeah.
And I can't assault their friend.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I don't want to. I mean, I know that's in reference to the dinner we just had. I don't want to speak out of turn in this, but I'd like to think the first time I came over here and hung out, I did a pretty good job of just being comfortable and chill and not being like, let me feel a Max vibe, actually. And it's like both of us are just trying to feel out each other's vibes for several fucking hours.
I was going to say, it was pretty easy because you're like, do you follow this Down syndrome guy on TikTok? They're like, yeah, so do I.
Yeah, exactly.
So, to compliment you, you're one of the handful, maybe one of two people
absolutely
who could send me stuff usually that I've never even seen before.
Yeah.
Shayne always sends me horrific war videos.
Good dying videos.
And then you'll always send me schizophrenic, just crazy people I've never seen. So
absolutely.
I applaud you for your skills there.
Thank you.
Everyone else sends me some good stuff every now and then.
Sure.
But
the thing is, I don't want to say it's like, I'm not like sitting at home thinking like, what's Mac going to think about this? It's usually like, fucking firing on all cylinders immediately, just being like, yeah, if Mac hasn't seen this yet, he might like it.
Yeah, I'm never thinking about sending a video to someone to be like, what would they think? I'm like, oh, this video was made for that person.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I need them to see it.
Yeah.
Because I'm the conduit for them to get, I don't know. That's
my big fear always with sending you a video is that you've already seen it. Or
I've seen it a lot.
I'll go to hit the share button and then they're like, Mac reposted, and I'm like, yeah, dude, that makes complete sense.
Just just a man with tinfoil, wearing a tinfoil hat and no pants, just a hanging dong or something.
I don't know if you remember the guy I sent you. This is probably like a month and a half ago. His account obviously got deleted, but the guy that was just shaving his face in an abandoned building, but like he was doing it so aggressively, and he was like,
was it a Chinese guy? And it was like,
no. I know who you're talking about.
You know that video,
but no, dude, it's just a white guy, and he's damn, did I spill the Coke again?
No.
He's just sitting in an abandoned house, and you just see mold all over him, and he's like shaving his face like this, and he's not saying anything. And then all of his other videos are like, I'm the chosen one. Christ speaks to me directly, because I'd like to think like you and I were having this conversation, obviously off pod.
About schizophrenia?
Yeah, well, I would like to be more in the Down syndrome, autism, like fun realm.
That's where I am on TikTok.
Like, if we're looking at like a graph chart, and like there's like fun, and then not fun, and then happy and sad. I'm like in the far left bottom corner right now with the schizophrenia shit. It's sad and not fun.
Yeah, it's a terrible place to be.
And I would love to be somewhere closer to middle, but the algorithm knows I only like a couple of things.
You know what I think you need to do? Here's a secret. For anyone whose algorithm is messed up online, you need to pick like an animal you really like.
Oh, sure.
And mine is monkeys. I've seen other people pick.
I get monkey videos occasionally.
Some people pick like hedgehogs.
Yeah.
A lot of people just pick cats and dogs. You need to pick one specific animal video style that you genuinely like. Dogs, goose, whatever. The algorithm will then learn that you like that and throw you it's a little palate cleanser in between all the drifting videos of people getting hit by cars
I would hate to say this, but monkey videos banned in my house.
What?
my wife hates two animals, dude. She hates spiders and she hates monkeys.
Why does she hate monkeys?
I tried to talk to her about it because, like,
is she like a hardcore fundamentalist Christian?
Yeah, dude.
Monkeys shouldn't exist.
Yeah, actually, yeah. No, she
or I guess
she hates the way they look, and I think it's like an uncanny valley thing, right? Where she sees a monkey and she goes, "It's too close to us."
She gets scared.
Maybe she wants to fuck the monkey, dude.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe she's afraid she could get got with a monkey with a lot of riz.
I'd get got. Absolutely. She really likes going to the zoo, which is like not my bag at all.
She loves going to the zoo.
She loves the zoo.
Hates seeing monkeys.
The primate palace at the Denver Zoo is phenomenal. The orangutans are huge, and it's almost like a big open pit that they live in.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm not going in there. And meanwhile, I'm looking, and there's just a fucking monkey holding its baby by the fucking like head, like swinging it around. I'm like, you gotta look at this, dude. You have to see what's going on behind you.
That's just like us.
Yeah. And she was like, I can't. And I'll show her a video, and I'll be like, maybe I can find a monkey video cute enough that she'll be like, oh, this is actually kind of cute.
Dude, what about the monkeys running in the rain? That one got me last week.
She really hates the wet monkeys.
Oh, what?
If there was like a caste system for monkey types, wet would be on the very bottom.
Not the monkeys,
most hated.
Not the monkeys when they're taking a shower and using soap and just frothing and slapping themselves up.
Dude, the video of the one that instead of using, they learn how to use the soap, but then they grab the tree bark and they start using the tree bark and they start eating it because it's tasty treats for them. And like people are just like, are they going to start eating the soap? I don't fucking care, dude. This video rocks ass. But yeah, monkey video is certainly not allowed in the house. And
damn,
I'd hate to say it, but Down syndrome video is really not allowed in the house.
That's fair. There's that's the same thing basically.
She thinks that
they're about for the grace of God go any of us. We could have been born a monkey.
Yeah,
we could have been born Downs and lived much happier lives. But we were cursed with normalcy.
Dude, having a brain is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. A human brain that thinks about dumb shit. I would love to be monkey and just be like, yeah, I'm waiting for my next meal.
I think you get to be happy in a different, because I think because everyone's like it's a curse, but then you get to I feel like I get to enjoy Down syndrome people and monkeys and all of God's creations. The way I'm like, that is nice. It makes me feel nice that those things are out there.
Yeah.
Where they just get to always be happy.
Yeah.
So they get to, it's a simpler form of happiness.
Yeah. Well,
where mine is, I'm like, hey, life sucks, but at least there are nice things.
I mean, I mean, dude, we were watching Down for Love last night for a couple hours.
That was a great
And
show.
that brought a lot of joy to me on this couch.
Absolutely amazing show.
Yeah,
better
dude.
than the autism show. the autism show, they're all angry and
Dude, there's
frustrated.
too much thought with them.
Yeah, they're overthinking, and it sucks because that seems cruel. Dating on the Spectrum on Netflix, it seems cruel because they're all like, being alive is like,
Yeah,
like, we're on a date.
Everything is conflict, and they're like, "You're not doing that right. You can't. You have to ask them about their interests, James."
Yeah.
And James is like, "Oh, I can't really."
They
do
always
that."
have like the relationship therapist be
Yeah.
like, all right, consent is very important. If someone doesn't want you biting them,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to stop by. And they're like, I don't understand. But then the Down for Love show is the complete opposite.
They're
Because
immediately in love.
It'll be like date one. The one Carlos, he's just like, it's the first date with this woman, and he's just like, my passion for you burns like an eternity. He's just this poet laureate. He's writing poetry, but it's funny because their therapists are like, all right, you know what consent means, right? And they're like, when I want to give kisses, I like, and
dude.
she says no more kisses. I only give a little kiss, and they're like, okay, are you guys having sex? They're like, what is sex? Like a big kiss? Like they don't even get
big
it.
wet kiss and handstand kisses, dude. Absolutely.
It's so pure and so, dude. Down for Love. is
I would
amazing.
die for Braden
Yeah,
tomorrow. If Braden somehow got to America or I went to New Zealand, I would become his personal bodyguard.
they should do Survivor. Team Autism versus Team Downs.
Down syndrome would win.
I think it might be
Down
pretty.
syndrome would win.
You think?
Dude, even if it was like puzzle based, even they would be able to muscle through anything you threw at them.
Yeah.
Hands
That's
down.
why I think it's balanced because
Yeah.
there's the people that are thinking too much and the people with no thoughts, just pure happiness. Anyways, but I don't. That's all. We're getting too much into.
We're
our
too
hobby.
much in the weeds.
This is
over
what I
here.
wanted to pod with you about.
Sure, go ahead.
Because you've traveled the world, you've been in bands, you've died a couple times.
Mm-hmm. I've been dead twice, yeah.
You've done all these things. You're very funny. I don't care about any of that.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to ask you about what it was like being a mailman.
Oh, dude.
Being a mailman is one of the most interesting jobs. I feel like that's still it's like kind of a yesteryear job that still kind of exists.
Yeah.
The pay I hear is really great still.
The pay is decent. It depends on where you. I mean, I could just get right into it.
I mean, I don't know where to start, but I'm like, how did you start as a mail person?
I tried for several years.
Also, one of my favorite Duckman jokes.
Okay.
For anyone who's watched Duckman, it's one of these formative jokes I watched as a kid.
Absolutely.
And it blew my mind.
Yeah.
Is when this is in the 90s. I don't know what year Duckman.
I'm familiar with Duckman.
Yeah, I don't know what year Duckman came out. It was like 1995.
Yeah.
But they were complaining about like woke liberals changing the
Mm-hmm.
name of mailman to person, and it like. I lost it as like a child, as like a 10-year-old. I'm like, oh my god, that's so funny!
It's an incredible joke. Absolutely.
Changing the name of mailman to person. When does it end?
Very poignant and somehow still relatable
Still
to this
relevant.
day.
But
yeah, and I was a mailman.
when did you become a person?
I became a person when I moved to the Midwest. I tried for several years where I was from. The people out there don't die and they don't retire.
Oh, here on the East Coast.
On the East Coast. So like my mailman was 81
yeah,
and he was still walking a route.
that's a thing I've noticed about New York is there's a lot of really old people that you're like, how are you alive?
They're still active.
And
They're
they're, like,
thinking. They're walking.
Their head is like, their neck muscles will be like 90 degrees over in their chest, but they are walking around. And I think it's these old people who are like 80, 90 years old who still have to walk up 5 steps.
Yeah.
5 flights of
dude,
steps.
it's enough. It's enough.
Enough to keep their heart pumping.
Yeah.
Whereas people like in the Midwest or like up in the North, they just drive. When you drive everywhere, you're sitting.
Yeah.
When you're sitting at an office
You turn
job,
56 and you die.
yeah, so many things like that. So if you're like a male person, yeah, you're just gonna.
Well,
that's a job that
so-
you're only getting stronger at.
So every time you say a sentence, it brings up a new male memory for me.
That's why I wanted to talk to you about it.
So I got the job literally the first week I moved out to the Midwest. I literally just applied and I applied for one job and they called me and they were like, "Hey, could you actually do this other job?" I was like, "Yeah," which is for those in the cut, I was a city carrier assistant, which is essentially your regular mailman when you live in a city. When you start for the post office, you don't start as like a full-time regular employee. You're essentially a contractor.
Just to test you out, see if you...
Essentially, yeah. But a lot of it has to do with like making room because there's only so many routes and shit like that. So when you start, you get assigned to a station in your installation, which is whatever city you're in or town. Whoops. Well, let's bleep that the fuck out.
You want me to? I'll do it.
Where I'm from, there's 26 stations in our installation. And that ranges from like one station all the way like at like, you know, it's not even considered the same city or town.
Yeah.
And it incorporates 3 different counties. But then there's some places like where I'm from, and it only has 2 stations, but it serves way more fucking people, kind of like here in New York, where a station, like, you know. But in any case, I just applied. I got the job immediately because people don't want to work where I'm from.
Dude, these
or where I
fucking
live.
these Zoomers.
You're
None of
telling
these
me.
kids want to work. All they want to do is be TikTok stars and podcasters.
But I started as an assistant, and I was really good at the job because I have a type of autism that goes along with like addresses and maps, and so you'd be surprised how little people can actually read maps and like understand, like, you know, because you take a test to become a mailman.
We had a cartographer.
Yeah.
Find where we live.
Really? Dude, good on him. Hell yeah, dude.
They're cartographers, so.
But
maps.
when you know, I don't know. I'm just gonna get into the real juicy stuff.
Yeah. You applied. You didn't know
I
how
had no
interesting
clue
being a mailman.
I always wanted to be a mailman. Like I said, it takes very long on the East Coast because everyone just keeps living until they're dead.
Not a lot of truck jobs out here, whereas out in the West, it's like, oh, you got to deliver mail to a person who lives, the only person who lives 100 miles in that direction.
Yeah.
So hop in a car, deliver his box, come back. Where that's one of the nice things about.
I'd love to hop in a car and deliver a box. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean.
Talking about my damn bussy, bro. I'm trying to get stuffed.
Just showing up and then getting airtight and then leave.
Yeah. But my first time as a full-time regular, I basically had a position because you have to bid on all your positions. It's like the trains, right?
What do you mean?
So there's routes at stations, and then the routes open up, and there's a board that you could bid on by phone. That's how I was doing it.
What do you mean bid? Like, hey, I'm available for that, and then they
so it goes by seniority.
Okay, that's
so if you know, it's seniority in the installation and seniority in your station too.
This guy's been working here for 80 years.
He's gonna get it.
He gets the easy route, and no one can challenge him on that because he's been doing that route forever.
So when I started, I picked a route at a station that I knew. Because like I said, you belong to the installation. So when I started, I had to go to different post office and learn different routes at different stations. So I tried to choose a station that I knew at least some routes in, because they had a couple of open routes, because the manager there was very bad, which will tie into the story actually. So when I bid, you know, it takes like 2 weeks to kind of, for that whole process start.
Are there like beefs internally where people steal routes? Like a guy shows up sick and didn't get to bid that day, then someone slinks in.
The bids, I think, open up every month or 2 months or something. Like if you bid, it's not like you rebid again. Once you're on the route is assigned to you until you leave that route.
Okay.
So it's not like somebody can come in and is like, this is my fucking route today, bitch. I'm delivering mail down here. No, you're once you're assigned to it, it's your fucking route.
There's one woman who always opens the door, not wearing anything.
My first day as a full-time regular, guy comes in covered in blood.
One of your coworkers?
He comes in covered in blood, shoots the manager in the head.
Wait, someone went postal on your first day?
Mm-hmm. Shoots the manager in the head, walks over to his case, blows his brains out.
Day one?
That was my first time as a full-time regular. I was casing my mail.
So what does casing your mail mean?
Like you have a case. So damn.
No.
This is like those YouTube videos where like explain a concept in 5 levels, and I'm like, you understand some basics about mail, but I got you're like the elementary student that I got to explain mail to.
No, it's truly.
I
one of
think
those
I think the
fascinating
Postal
things
Service is one of the most fascinating things on the fucking planet,
because
and I don't get to talk about it a lot.
yeah, some people because a guy coming into have the term going postal become a thing.
We did that, bitch.
To where like there's something about the job where it's people talk about like how Hollywood is fucked up and crazy and like they're all pedophiles and vampires.
Not
and
even a little bit.
They're all like there's something sinister about like old government institutions.
Well, that's a whole other thing. Not owned by the government anymore. They haven't accepted money from the government since the 80s.
What do you mean? They're not federally owned, or they're like independent.
So it's kind of like a half and half. They haven't received money from the government in 30, 40 years or some shit. Like when UPS and FedEx got started, that was basically the government's doing. They wanted to privatize mail.
Yeah.
And the Postal Service was like, no, dude, fuck that. Like, this is a thing. This is a service we provide. Like the reason we have minimum wage is because of the post office.
Yeah.
Like, all that shit.
The idea I've heard why post office is the USPS is better than UPS or FedEx or
they go down to the last mile.
If you're in America, no matter
where,
what your address is, if it's Hawaii, Alaska,
you live in the base of the Grand Canyon, all that shit.
You put a 52-cent stamp on,
no problem.
You address it to where it needs to go. It shows up there. There's no because UPS is like, we could ship it there. It's gonna fucking cost.
And you know who finishes that though? The post office. We would carry a bunch of UPS and FedEx shits to the last mile. DHL, all that shit would come to like a general mail facility.
They just rebox the box.
They would put a different label on it, but it would be our scanner.
That's very
that
funny.
could scan it. But
scam. So, anyways,
but yeah, so there's so much that I want to explain.
We're gonna get to it all.
I don't know where to like really jump because I'm getting worked up right now. I'm getting excited, dude.
Tell me if you're gonna feeling like you're getting postal. We'll back off.
No, I felt like that at some point.
What does getting your case together mean? So it's your first day.
When you come into the post office, your route has like a shelving unit, and the shelving unit has like like a magazine holder.
Yeah,
it has leaves like that. So depending on how your route is organized, so like how like you live in a grid.
Mm-hmm. Only two cities in America really have grid systems.
Absolutely,
Salt Lake City and New York City.
Absolutely,
and then maybe some other
the two
Chicago.
The two maybe most decent places in America, I guess.
The two most Freemason based.
They got some of the cleanest water you've ever tasted in your life.
Extra fluoride.
But so you go in and like depending on how your route is laid out, if it's like a grid, it might go street by street or however your route is mandated to be carried. So you'll have like labels that'll be like, this is the 600 block of Kenneth Avenue, and then the next one would be like the 600 block of Keeble Avenue, then the 600 block of Licton Avenue.
And so you have to grab all the stuff and put it in your bag.
So when you show up, there's a couple of different types of mail. There's raw mail, which is like in a tub and you case that. Then you have your DPS, which is machine sorted mail. Those come in like those long, I don't know if you've ever seen them. They're like long mail trays. The machine does that. You bring that out with you. You don't case it up. But your
That's just on the truck?
Your raw mail, well, you pick it up in the office and bring it to your truck. You have to load your truck like a little driver, like a UPS driver.
Yeah, okay.
So you take your raw mail, and then like let's say you have a cool manager, which is not really fucking possible at the post office. Those guys suck.
What is it, like these old heads who?
It's people who couldn't carry mail.
Okay.
Because that's another job you can bid on. If you're not a good carrier, you become a manager. Because you could make way more money being a fucking carrier than you could ever.
Really?
Dude.
Is it like?
I made like $130,000 my first year as a mailman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it because like, hey, we need the mail delivered, but also if you want to take on extra, you can. Or is
you're saying like it's voluntary.
Okay.
This is kind of where it's half and half on where it sort of acts like a government or military entity.
Yeah.
And doesn't.
Because isn't it? Wait.
You get mandated to do things, and if you don't do them, you get like demerits, like in the army. Like when you don't show up, it's considered going AWOL. They really think they're the fifth branch of the military.
All right.
It is like being fucking brainwashed every day of your life carrying mail.
It's a government institution.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's not anymore.
So the only thing the government has control of is how much a stamp costs and where the vehicles they're going to be using get manufactured and shit.
But also, it started as a government thing. So it
definitely started as a government
history
thing.
and culture.
But the government hates the post office.
Oh, really? Are they trying to get rid of it now?
No, because
it's become too powerful.
The government
like the CIA
the government
or the
wanted
FBI?
to make the government wanted to make money off of it.
Yeah, I thought it was profitable.
It still is profitable.
It's like,
but the government made them sign this weird treaty where they were like, you have to pay your employees benefits for the next 500,000 years. So they've been like in a $500 billion deficit since the 80s.
good.
But the post office makes a profit every year. And you know how they do that? Just on postage.
Just what?
Just postage is what makes the money.
Huh.
You get on your phone right now. Look up how much money the post office actually made in postage last year. Not like one of those fake fucking things where they're like, the post office is fucking failing. They'll never be able to survive this. They're making money, but they have to pay so much money back in fucking benefits. It looks like they're not making anything.
Yeah.
And it's why all these people come out of the woodwork and they're like, fuck the post office. And I'll just go off on one.
I don't know if there's a lot.
I'll find the numbers for you.
78 billion in operating revenue. I guess that's a lot of money.
That's a huge amount of money.
I'd be sure. So any number over 5 million, I'm like,
you know what's fucked up is they don't own a lot of the buildings they operate out of, so they're renting.
Oh, okay.
They're the biggest renter of property in America.
No,
Yep.
that can't be true.
Because Walmart owns a lot of their spots. Walmart is the second biggest renter compared to the post office.
Wow.
In any case, you case up your mail, then you have to go through a couple things, and then you could. Once again, it really depends on how cool your manager is.
Yeah.
And they usually suck. But then you get your truck loaded up. If you know your route well enough, you can get your packages organized. You could take like your, they call them spurs, which are like little Amazon envelopes and shit like that. You could case those up because when you're carrying mail, you have to.
So is that spurs like the little
Spurs are like the
plastic
Amazon
bag
envelopes.
Yeah, the little like kind of
bubble envelopes. So when you're carrying your mail, you put like your magazines and shit, your I think it's FFS or FSD or something like that. I can't remember what the actual term is. And then you carry letters in here. But because I had cased mail, I used to have to carry my cased mail like this with my regular DPS mail, the machine organized mail, in my first forefinger.
Is this like organized by house, or is it just kind of like
So once again, that kind of goes back to how your case is set up. So the DPS knows your route.
Yeah.
The machine knows your route.
Ancient guy set up a route, and that probably never changes.
No, that's not true.
No?
They have people come out and watch your routes and see what you do.
They have
And
spies,
if you're doing your routes too fast, they make your routes longer. So if you have a new guy who's like a goody two shoes, they call him a route runner, because
I like to do a good job at the beginning, and then
dude, I got treated like what's his name in a Full Metal Jacket for being too good. They beat me with soap. They were like, "You got to stop running our fucking routes, dude. You're gonna make them longer on the street." They had cake routes. They were all 70.
Because I had a job when I was in the machine shop in Utah.
Yeah.
That was a job where I did a good job, and they rewarded me for it. They were like, "Dude, you're
that
killing
doesn't. Dude,
it."
more hard work gets rewarded with more hard work at the fucking post office.
But they would like they loved me there. I was doing work. They started letting me like do whatever I want. It was kind of like one of those situations. And then I've had to come out to the East Coast, work at these jobs, and it was just like, oh, you're just gonna give me. I don't get anything for any hard work, and and that when I'm that type of worker, so I have my 100% work line.
Yeah.
And if when I start a new job, I'll give you like 120, 130, and if you give me that, if you like respond to that, and it's nice, we have a good relationship, you'll keep getting that. If I give you that and then I get nothing in return, you're getting 75, 60, and then they're like, what happened to the good worker? I'm like, I don't care.
I wish that was possible at the post office. The mentality is so, I don't want to use the word toxic because that's for pussy babies on the internet.
No, it's ancient. It's an evil. It's like
it is so fraternity feeling and like pressuring. Like you can feel the pressure from your entire station when you were not doing the thing.
Do other guys keep you in line? Heard you're not.
Some guys do. Some guys try to.
Heard you need help with your route.
Dude, it depends on who you are. Because I worked at some stations where people were desperate for overtime. There's an overtime, dude. I really feel like we should have planned this out because I have so much I could tell you, dude. There's so much fucking information, dude.
We'll have you back. So wait,
there's the overtime desired list. So like let's say somebody calls out, their route needs to be split up amongst other carriers. The route begins to be split up first by those on the overtime desired list.
Yeah, people who've opted in.
Then it goes to your assistant carriers, your CCAs, shit like what you are before you get hired as a full-time regular. And then it gets mandated to the old heads, the guys who've been there for a minute.
And if it gets that far, they're pissed.
They will get pissed, but it's part of their job, and it happens every fucking day. So the first route I ever started in, that was like my assignment station, was a station that only had 14 routes, and it was called a retirement station because there was no walking routes. Every other place in this city has walking routes. So these are the types of routes where you can just sit in your LLV, your long life vehicle,
pull up to the
20
mailbox box. I hate those.
Not even the CBU, not even the
multi.
That's what they call it.
Dude. What does that stand for?
Dude, I don't know.
Centralized
centralized box unit or something. Hell yeah.
I'm trying to. I hate those mailboxes.
I don't like them very well, dude. It just depends on it depends on what type they are.
Because I think they started. I think they made those when they're like, this Unabomber guy, he's blowing up people in their front. And it's like, we need to centralize. I don't know. Who knows why they started?
They started. Well, those
it feels lazy.
Those have always existed in rural areas.
Okay, yeah.
Areas. So entire neighborhoods out in the mountains of the place where I live. When you're driving,
I love being in the middle of nowhere and seeing like 50 mailboxes.
That's an entire because there's one guy who has to do that route, and he drives like 50 to 80 miles a day, and those guys don't get paid by the hour. The rural carriers are salaried, and your value is based. Your pay is based on the amount of time spent on the street for your route. So if your route is valued at 10 hours, but you can get it done in 3, it behooves you to do it in 3 because then you could fuck off. But if your route is valued at 3 and then you can't do it for 6 hours, or it takes you 6 hours to do it, you still only get paid for 3.
Do you have to legally like deliver the mail in the mail truck they give you? Or if I'm like, I got one of these routes, I'm getting on the fucking dirt bike and I'm ripping out.
If you're a rural carrier, more often than not, you are supplying your own vehicle.
Oh, okay. Whatever you want.
I mean, most of those people look for right-hand drive vehicles.
Yeah.
So...
But I'm saying I'm looking for something of speed demon.
Oh, I don't see that. That's the thing I never really got too much into that because I just drove the trucks they gave me. The best truck on the planet.
I'm getting pulled over and I'm flashing my mail badge.
I got pulled over by a cop once when I was a mailman.
In your mail truck?
Yeah, they can't do anything to you.
What do you mean? You have a diplomatic immunity?
We're above the fucking police. Because none of the vehicles are registered.
They don't need to be. They're mail trucks.
Cops don't know that. They're dumb.
Oh, yeah. Cops don't know anything.
So they'll try and pull you over and they'll be like, I need to see the registration. I'm like, doesn't exist.
Mostly traffic cops don't know.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I don't know. Like, there's, once again, in the city that I live in, there is a street that is just a mall. And I used to just park in the middle of it. And the cops would come by and be like, hey, man, you can't park there. And I'm like, do something about it.
Has that ever happened? Have the cops ever? Because I've seen a cop like arrest a fireman on video, and everyone's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" Like,
I'm sure it happens. The thing is, I don't think anybody wants the fucking trouble because
there has to be secret.
If I was smart, I would let a cop take me in, and then I would get the cop arrested for delay of mail, a federal crime. Yeah, dumbass, what are you doing?
Delay of mail is a federal crime. So just like stepping
I really feel like, dude, I have so many mail thoughts in my head right now, and you're saying something. I'm like, dude, here comes another.
Don't worry about it. We'll get to it all.
We also have our. So
wait,
please
to go all the way back.
Yes,
first day.
How do you case your mail?
You're casing your mail. I don't. Whatever. That's interesting. What you're casing your mail, and what you're at this facility where someone goes postal.
Yeah. Well,
how big is this place? Is it so big that someone could go postal and half the building's like, yeah?
No.
Okay.
It's not that big. It's there was 30 like 31 or 32 routes split by 2 different zip codes.
Okay.
But they all shared the same floor. So manager's desk in the middle of the cases. Everybody is facing the manager.
The guy comes in already bloody.
Already covered in blood.
And everyone's like, oh, shit.
Everybody's like, hey, dude, what's going on? And he walks right up to the manager, blows her brains out.
You saw this.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
I was a bad guy when I was younger. I saw a lot of shit like this. So that don't affect me.
How many other mail carriers did it affect?
A lot.
All right.
People. Okay. I say that they say it affected them, but they were just looking to get out of work. They were calling there's like a EAP or whatever, like the emotional something phone network. It's a free service for postal workers to call if they feel like shooting somebody or they're having like issues at home.
Press 1 if you are having murderous thoughts.
It's a free therapy.
Press 2 if you already are on your way.
It's free therapy for people who want to murder their coworkers. So yeah, he shoots her, and people are obviously a little freaked out. And they're kind of cowering, and I was like, I'm not going to catch a stray on this one because this is my first day, and I'm the only guy that exists in my world. So there's no way that I would die on my first day at this thing that I'm doing. And he just walks over to his case, blows his brains out. And
so it's over. And then the mail was delayed that day. He committed a felony.
I was just going to say, I delivered some of that mail.
After that?
Uh-huh.
Did you get good? What's the opposite of a demerit? You get some good boy points? You get some good stars?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I got more mail to deliver after I was done delivering his shit.
Was there blood on the mail?
Some of it. So
if you get blood on your mail and you're like, oh, I know what happened.
Yeah, I mean, they don't try and clean it. They'll put that shit in like plastic bags. So like, let's say like something happens to an envelope en route or in transit.
Yeah.
And like the letter falls out, we still have to deliver the empty envelope, but they'll put it inside of a little bag that will say, hey, this was damaged in transit. We seriously care about your mail and we want to get you your mail, but sometimes things happen, dude. You understand, right? And people don't understand because while people who receive mail are not customers.
They're just every citizen.
They're the everyman. They're just a guy.
What do you think it is about...
They think they're customers, though.
Yeah. What do you think it is about like mail specifically that makes certain people? Did you feel like you might have become more schizophrenic?
No.
While working there,
I loved tedium. I love repetitive. Like,
do you think that's what it is? Or
no.
like I'm saying, do you slowly absorb all the information passing through you?
Dude,
you start seeing through the matrix.
I
start.
There's an apartment complex in Town Redacted where I can name most of the people by their mailboxes, and I haven't.
That's what I'm wondering. You start learning people's names. Where I'm wondering that it has to affect your brain. Where you start.
I mean, dude, I'm probably not going to be able to remember my own kids' names or like who I loved because I'll be on my deathbed just being like, yeah, Mr. Ramon lived in Unit 403 on Zunai Street.
And you start like seeing the type of mail he gets. You know what, if he's like getting a lot of credit card bills or if he's like, what if he's buying like a fleshlight? You're like, I know this box. I've gotten this box 3 or 4 times.
Absolutely. But I don't think the mail is what fucks with people's heads. It's the structure of management, because once again it is based on seniority, so you can get promoted to manager based solely on your time served. And because a lot of people don't want to be a manager, the people who are not cut out for doing the hard work go to that, and they take it out on the carriers because the carriers dog them.
Yeah,
carriers are like, hey, like you clearly couldn't hack it. You have to be an exceptional manager for a carrier to be on your side with anything.
So it's already a combative.
Absolutely. Like we have union stewards in each shop, and the stewards will go to bat for you for no fucking reason. The manager could look at you the wrong way, and the steward's like, oh, that's retaliation.
So would you say it's the managers that usually go postal? Or
No, it's the carriers that go postal because of the managers.
Okay,
because for example, you get like six days off a year per federal regulation. But there are other days that are kind of within your scheduled day off So your schedule goes on a 6-week time cycle.
Yeah.
So, every 6 weeks you get a full weekend off.
Right.
Doesn't happen that way always.
Yeah, because the mail needs to be delivered.
Yeah.
There's no
and they also make people deliver on Sundays now, but it's just Amazon packages, which is another thing that's been making people go crazy. Managers put you in a position where you are not able to see your family. You are unable to watch your kids grow up. Dude, it's like, and it's funny because it's junk mail.
Yeah.
No one's received a letter in the mail except for Carlos's girlfriend from Down with Love in 1,000 years.
I think I get like probably 10. I probably bring in to my house 5 to 10 envelopes a month. Where I'm like, oh,
total?
Well, here's what it is. Most of the mail I get is someone who used to live here. That I'm like, oh, I just throw that in the trash.
Don't throw it in the trash. Actually, it depends.
Was that like my committing a? It's like junk mail.
So there's 2 types of junk mail. There's pre-sort standard, which is.
Are you committing a felony every time I get like a credit card offer from someone who's dead?
If it's a credit card offer, it has to go back.
What do I do with that mail? Do I just leave it in the mailbox?
You could,
dude. There's literally like 16 people's mail.
Dude. I'm telling you right now. I mean, this is on your carrier. They're a dog shit carrier. I'm sure she's a nice lady, but she's lazy.
Well, actually, we have 2 carriers.
She should know.
I have a really nice carrier because all my roommates love ordering bullshit, and I'm the only one who lives down here.
Yeah.
So most of the time, she rings the doorbell at 8 a.m. and she's so nice, and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?"
The office must be somewhere around here, dude.
Oh, there's one. Yeah, it's a couple. But we could go visit it.
Okay.
Flash your badge, be like, we're checking it.
Dude, I still got a postal parking pass in my car, and I park in handicap spots all the time.
Hell yeah.
So,
one of my favorite memories of that post office was. Because it's it's in the Jewish neighborhood, but there's still black ladies at the front desk.
Dude, absolutely.
And it was right when COVID started. And so the Hasidic Jews were like, it's not real. We don't vaccinate our kids, whatever. And so they were pretending not to know English. And the black ladies were just yelling like, you need to wear a mask or get out. And all these Jews being like, I don't know what is a mask? Like, them just that. And I'm standing there just like, I love this. I love New York. I'm going to live here forever.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. But that's the thing about me. I enjoy I love casinos. I love post offices. Dude, places where people are miserable.
I gotta see. I gotta see a man go to his extreme on a thing that is not make or break. Like, dude,
like it doesn't matter. But
I'm with you on the casinos and the post office thing. I'm addicted to both those things.
Just weird spots where that break people.
Never broke me, dude.
Well, we're stronger. We're hanging out on Schizo TikTok for fun.
I was like, I have a job where I can wear shorts year round.
Don't they make you wear shorts?
No, they don't.
In the bail office?
I was about to say they don't make you do anything, but that's clearly not true. No, you could wear shorts really whenever you want. I mean, it's up to you, whatever the fuck you want to wear. There's postal gear is very expensive.
Don't they have like they have like a website or I don't know, a store where you can buy postal stuff? Mm-hmm. But you have to like have your postal number because there's
they call your station.
Because I was looking up a ski mask that had like United States Postal Service.
I still have one of those if you want it.
Yeah. And I was like,
I have a bunch of shit I could give you.
I was trying to buy it, but I'm like, I don't have a postal number. I don't know what to. So I've got. But anyways, we'll get to that later.
I'll send you I have a track jacket that is like a 10 years clean driving of the city I'm in.
Did you have 10 years clean?
No, okay. I didn't work for them for 10 years.
I love seeing,
but it's a pun on the city I live in.
Oh, okay.
So, and I think you'll like it.
I love seeing the guy at the post office where it'll be like, Frank has driven over 10 million miles without an accident. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, Frank rules.
What a loser.
Okay,
you think he rules?
You better shut the fuck up, dude. I will turn you into jelly. You keep saying shit like that.
Pull my brains out on the podcast.
Dude, don't you fucking dare say something about Frank, dude.
If I receive a couple bullets in the back of the head, no, it's from the USPS.
Yeah, and dude, I'll admit it right here on air right now. The mail is what made me do it.
So wait,
please.
What is the back to like where you start learning like who people are, but never, maybe sometimes seeing them, but never like.
A lot of times you don't see them. The only time you see somebody is when they're fucking annoying, and then you really start to remember them.
But did you ever like start having like favorite people on the routes? Was there a lady who was always sunbathing in a bikini? Was there always like a
no, dude?
Was there like some freak who would like
where I was delivering mail? Not a lot of shit was like when I first started. It was a very rich station. So when I was there, it was cool. I was there for like a Christmas one time when I was an assistant.
Yeah,
I got a $2,000 bonus because the guy's route I was doing, he made $30,000 in gifts and cash, which we're not allowed to accept. We're not allowed to accept anything over $10 from anybody.
Is that just people leaving like cash in the mailbox?
In the mailbox, and they'll say,
like, "Oh, it's Christmas."
And he cut me he's just like, "Here's $2,000," because he was gonna clear like fucking $250,000 that year just on his pay. He was there for a long time. He was making like $46 an hour, and if you work 8 hours a day, you make overtime after 8. And if you work 10 hours a day, you make double time after 10.
Yeah, I feel like becoming a mail person, a person when you're like 18.
Yeah.
And if you like it, working there for your whole life would be a great get. Like I can't get into it now.
No, you can. It's actually better to get into it in your older age.
Oh.
Because your years served plus your age gets you to an easier retirement. So if you start working at the Postal Service when you're like 55.
But I mean, I'm already like, I can show that I can walk or.
Well, not, dude, any position. So let's say you work in the warehouse. If the retirement age is 65, you start at 55, you work 5 years, your age plus your years served gives you full retirement.
Wow.
Which is mandated by the government to give all their fucking employees.
So that's an out. If I haven't saved anything for retirement, I've been living a terrible, I've been making bad life choices. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go work for the post office for 3 years.
Not a bad, or maybe you'll get killed.
Either way, I'm living on Easy Street.
So,
so no favorites, no one you remember seeing all the time.
I didn't really have favorites. Like when I did the rich people's route, because it was on a golf course.
Wait, back to you're only allowed to tip them $10 max.
You're only allowed to accept $10.
So if somebody gives you
a $20 bill, you're like, I'm sorry. And that's never once in the history of mailmen ever happened. Yeah, everybody is taking money from everybody.
Obviously, I'm going to be like, oh, these 2 houses back to back gave me $10.
Well,
it's
$10
houses.
$10 per person.
Oh,
sorry,
so
let me rephrase that. It's not
people-
$10 for the day. That's insane to say that.
Yeah, 2 people are living at the same address.
Not to mention, I mean, you get a lot of treats too. I mean, there's a lot of people who are pissed off, but when you work in like the nicer, more affluent areas, it's sick. They're giving you candy. They're leaving cold water out for you. There was this one guy who was definitely fucking a chick on his route. And when I would cover his route, she would just leave me a full sugar Dr. Pepper in the mailbox. And she'd be like, thanks for doing Steve's route. And he was definitely inside fucking her brains out, dude.
So she was disappointed, but still like appreciative.
No, he was definitely in there. He was munching that box over there.
No, I'm saying when you were doing his route and he couldn't do the route, he's like, "Oh, not today." But
yeah. Because I would ask him, I was like, "Hey, Steve, does she ever leave a Dr. Pepper in the mailbox for you?" He goes, "She leaves something else for me." And I was like, "Steve, you dirty dog, you little freak."
That happens where you're just like,
I get it.
I mean, you start seeing someone
a man in uniform, dude. I'd suck his dick.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing. I think it kind of goes back to what you said in the way beginning of this conversation, where this sort of seems like an antediluvian or like sort of like a job of yesteryear job where it seemed more important. That really goes a long way here, where now to young people, you're just the asshole who drops off their Amazon packages not fast enough. But to an old person, you were
like
the strength of the country. Mm-hmm. You got information places. You prevented delay of mail
before the internet.
You were the internet.
Yeah.
So when you
wanted porn before the 90s, there was one guy to deliver it to you. If you didn't want to,
there's still a lot of robust porn delivery. I'm telling you right now, dude. Because
that's my next question.
When it's sorry, I keep moving. I'm like, when it's in a stack, that's the only magazine that's covered up, and it fucks you up because it's plastic. So it's moving all your magazines up and down. But no, dude, when I worked the rich people routes, it wasn't that bad. But then when I got to the really rich areas where I had to walk, I absolutely despised them.
Yeah.
Because these people were like,
So upper middle class was nice.
upper middle. So
upper class.
we used
snobs.
to deliver mail to the guy who owns Benihana.
Okay, I think I have a weird connection. I think Diego dated like his daughter or something, like his cousin's daughter.
That's
Like,
awesome, dude.
which is like, why does Benihana keep coming up?
Yeah, dude, I'm making the damn volcano onion in her pussy. Dude. The way I'm doing it.
All right. Anyways,
but that neighborhood was cool because those people were so rich they had fuck off money. But then the people who were rich for time, like generational wealth,
yeah.
they didn't tip. I guess tipping isn't the big thing, but they would just like be like, "Oh, we ordered 20 Uline catalogs to the house, and you got to carry those, dude."
Oh, those are thick. Anyone who's never gotten a Uline catalog, that's like almost Bible thick of just here's 40 different garbage cans.
Hey, do you
for
want to
your
know all the
office.
different sizes of paper clips? Dude, we got 20 pages on it, no problem. And you know, so when I was doing those routes, I was geared up. I had a double satchel, like they were like on suspenders. So I had a satchel on each side. And then I used to wear a satchel on the front for like mail I picked up. And then I had a little satchel in the back for spurs. I looked crazy. I had gear, dude. I looked like a Ukrainian soldier, just putting together any gear I could.
Oh man.
And I don't know, dude. Like, but then you would go to the poor neighborhoods, and I worked in a place where like a lot of mailmen got held up, which for me was no problem. I don't own the mail. I just give it to them. I don't give a fuck. They want to rob my mail truck. I'm not fighting for the fucking government's
Are
mail.
they just stealing all the mail and hoping to like steal packages?
Back in the day, people used to rob mailmen for checks, but because welfare checks don't come in the mail no more, it doesn't happen nearly as much. But they will rob you for packages. But once again, well, I'll lead this into two different things. In the poor neighborhoods, a lot of dogs, and the dogs aren't leashed. And what they say about dogs and mailmen is so unbelievably true.
I don't know why. I see it. It's weird.
That's a dog bite right there.
Oh my god, those two big scars.
Yeah, that's one mouth. And I knocked that dog the fuck out.
Dude, good for you.
He kept biting. I kept telling the guy, I said, "Come get your dog, or I'm going to turn it into jelly." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Come get this fucking dog, or else I'm going to turn it into jelly." Dude. And he's on, and he's like, ah. And I just wailed on him, and I was like, "I'm going to knock this fucking dog out, dude." And then I picked it up by the scruff, and I was like, "Take your fucking dog," and threw it at him. Kept delivering mail.
I've seen dogs.
Yeah.
I've seen dogs be like nice to every race of person.
Are you about to ask me my theory on why I think dogs don't like mailmen?
I'm about to.
Yeah,
because
I'll let you get there.
They're letting dogs been nice to everyone. I've seen it with my own eyes. Every age, every gender, every race, different weird costumes. But then I've seen a dog react only to a mailman. And it was one of the weirdest things ever. Where I'm like, so that's like a real thing.
Some people think it's territorial. I don't, because of what you're saying. You know, they come around and they're like nice to him or whatever.
Yeah, because if it's the same guy coming around but then leaving.
What I think it is the amount of smells on a piece of mail.
Oh.
Mail has to touch like 300 or 400 hands before it gets out of that fucking office. The dog is freaked the fuck out
because
he's receiving too much information, dude. Too many fucking hands touch the mail. So the dogs are like, whoa, what the fuck? Like they feel like they're getting attacked.
Hey, guess what? I think that happens to certain mail carriers too. They get an information overload. They've been touching so many things. They've been seeing so many names. What is that called? You have like it's like your Gustav's number or something. It's the gun. It has a G. I can't remember the name. Where humans are theoretically only supposed to know 200 names.
Autism.
It's the type of. It's like the ideal size of a tribe of people is like 200.
Oh, sure.
And
I know what you're talking about.
Because it's like you think about it. And so now in our modern society, we're fucked up because I'm like, I know, not only do I know Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's name, now I know about Brad Jolina. That's a third name of two people. I know too many names, too many people I'm never going to meet, too many parasocial relationships. I don't know my own child's name. I don't know. I forgot.
I really think that's what it is. And I got attacked by a lot of dogs. Usually wasn't bad. They teach you how to shoot pepper spray at dogs. And
specifically.
They have dog spray that is pepper spray. Some dogs, if they're G's, will just eat it.
They like it.
Yeah, they'll take it on the chin and be like, "Yeah, fuck, dude, this has now only helped me. It's made me more powerful. I'm now a dog covered in pepper
It's like
spray."
smelling salts
Yeah,
for like a weightlifter.
absolutely, dude.
Ooh, I'm gonna bite you so extra hard now. Are you really good at vibing with it, like knowing the vibe of a dog now? Can you instantly, or does it still?
No, because
it
the
just
dogs
flip?
that attacked me, they were wagging their tails. They were showing all signs of
being nice.
not play, because when a dog plays, it kind of dips, and it kind of lowers itself to you. But they were alert, but they looked friendly, like they were waiting for you to throw a ball. Like they seem happy. And then
they're gonna be happy when they start biting.
Big old hunk of meat.
I've
like
talked
me,
about
dude.
this. I think one of the happiest things any creature on earth can ever feel is a dog biting something. Just a dog biting someone. They look like, if you ever see a pit bull just all bloodied biting something, it's like he's happy right now.
Dude, they showed us that video. You ever see that mail carrier that's like getting dragged down the street by a pit bull, like in Chicago?
Maybe.
And like somebody's like, "Do you want me to shoot the dog?" And he can't hear him because he's obviously being mauled. But the dog is literally just dragging him by his leg. And I'm like, dude, you got to put one of them out of their fucking misery because he's going to lose it.
Can mail carriers carry weapons?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
They used to have postal knives back in like the 60s.
Yeah.
Which some lady I worked with used to carry one, and also her gun.
Yeah.
Out in the field. She would have her gun in her satchel, which is a very big crime because I don't know.
They don't want
they want to treat us like the fifth branch of the military.
Yeah.
How about you start letting us act like one?
You know what I recently discovered? Because I don't know what the actual numbers are, but I think there's like a total of like 80,000 or like 120,000 Marines, right? So if they're all carrying weapons, usually when they're doing Marine stuff,
yeah.
I mean, they're holding a sword, whatever. It's 120,000 soldiers with weapons on them.
Yeah.
There are 200,000 IRS agents.
Hell yeah.
Who all have service weapons.
That's sick.
So there's more IRS agents who are armed than there are Marines.
And they both have their skills, I guess.
Which is like, why does an IRS agent need a pistol?
Dude, the postal inspectors used to carry guns.
Are the postal inspectors the guys who would follow you?
Postal inspectors are the post office police.
Yeah, that's what I was.
They're like military police, but for the post office,
and they get to carry guns.
A lot of those. Yeah, those guys are like ex-FBI.
Yeah,
they've somehow elevated to the post office.
Do they look like spooks? Do they look like just agents walking in? And you're like, I know exactly what you are. Are they are they black ties?
You will know because they're the only guys with guns.
They're open carrying.
Oh, they're the only guys open carrying.
Do they got like a badge and like just a cop?
They do have badges.
Sick.
So you
ever interact with one?
I did, because for a while I was a mail collector.
What is that?
It's a guy who out here, your mail is delivered in those 2-ton trucks, those box trucks.
Yeah.
But where I'm from, there's no real need for that to deliver. So collectors pick up mail in those trucks because you're picking up from businesses, and they're delivering. You're picking up bags of like parcels and shit like that. But there was a racket going on at the mail facility that I was collecting mail for.
Oh.
Where I live in a place where weed is legal, and people try to send it in the mail a lot.
That's illegal.
That's super illegal.
Mm-hmm.
If I got one word of advice for you, if you're gonna send weed in the mail, send it UPS.
Yeah, I was gonna say
you could use a fake fucking name. That there's no federal attachment to it. If you send weed in the mail and you get caught, you're going to Leavenworth. They're gonna arrest you.
Yeah, that's so stupid.
Do not do it.
There's so many federal regulations.
You can go through a bunch of shit. You can melt it. You can melt a candle and put it in the bottom of the candle and melt the wax back on top of it. You can put it in coffee. Do all that shit, but also send it UPS. Don't be fucking stupid. Because here's what they do. Okay, there's two ways. The postal inspectors try and set you up if you're a collector,
like secret shopper style.
Yeah, so they'll intentionally mail out a package of weed,
just like a brick of weed. And
but when you collect, you scan that in, because you know how when you order something, it says label been created but not yet in system.
Yeah,
that's because it hasn't reached the next point of service.
That's because the eBay guy I bought the thing off is like, look how fast they shipped it. Well, he just printed the label. I'm like,
once the carrier picks it up, they scan it. Now, once you scan it, it's now in the system. And the system says, okay, this package has to arrive on its CPMS route, which is like a timed route for the postal routes. It has to arrive at this time or it's considered a zero bundle, which is not illegal, but it's an infraction. Like, it looks bad on you because it makes it look like you're tampering with the mail.
Yeah.
The mail the mail's always moving, so it has to arrive at certain times to keep everything on schedule. So, like I said, they try and set people up. And dumb people who do send weed through the mail never try to cover up the fact that they're sending weed. So they'll try and send weed priority, thinking that it gets shipped faster. Priority has nothing to do with speed. It's about weight. So first class is up to 13 ounces of weight. But people send it priority. So you pick up this priority box, and the priority box is so incredibly light, and you know and it smells like weed, obviously.
Yeah.
So when that happens, and it's a person who sent it, it comes back to the mail facility with you, and then you put it in a larger version of a blue mailbox, like a comically, like a Pee-wee's Playhouse size mailbox, and you put it in there, and then the postal inspectors go through it, and then what they do.
So if you just like get a hint that a package might be sus,
Even dude,
you have to be like, hey, I'm calling
because if you don't do it and you got set up, it means
you're not
not doing your job. And I don't like to be a cop, but I'm not going to federal fucking prison. I'll kill myself before I get into fucking prison. I'll tell you that much.
Well, dude, it's the mail. I don't even think they send you to prison. They send you to weird black sites where they torture you.
Yeah.
Make Guantanamo Bay look like a joke. They store you next to the aliens that we had captured.
But so what they'll do? So you send it priority or whatever. You got your label created. They'll take your label and then they'll turn it into an endorsed piece of mail, which means it needs to have an ID to be signed for. So when it gets delivered to your house and you have to show your ID, they get you, and then they get you to rat on your boy that sent you the weed, and then you both get fucking arrested. So just like I'm saying, do not do it. And if you're gonna do it, please be fucking smart. It's so, or you know what? Don't be a fucking pussy. Buy it illegally. Wherever the fuck you live, and it's still somehow illegal, even though it's the year we're in.
Weed illegally,
dude. Just buy the fucking drugs illegally. You'll do less time if you get caught, or just don't get caught. But please don't send it via the post office, dude. Do not make a guy like me's job even harder by snitching on you. Please.
Was it always just weed, or was there any other packages where like, hey, this one's ticking? I have to put it aside.
No. So I got really lucky on I think I might have sent you the envelope with all the shit that was addressed to Trump, but it'd be like President Bozo, buffoon in the Oval Office, but the whole envelope would be written on. It was like a Dr. Bronner's label.
Yeah, just a schizophrenic car, but every inch of the front. This
is outside of the Social Security office every day that I picked up from.
Nice.
And that was the only piece of mail that was ever in it. Just a thing from that guy. I would find packages that had like grease stains. If it's a grease stain, you got to hand it in because you don't know what it could be. Nothing was ever ticking.
Most of the time, it's just like a car part, probably.
It could be, but they don't know that. One time, it was like a thing of chapstick, that like melted. I did find a gun in a mailbox though, like one of the blue boxes.
Was it another mail carrier? He's like, oops, I left it there.
Where the fuck did I put my gun, dude?
Because those blue boxes are just like storage areas.
The blue boxes are for outgoing mail.
Yeah, the blue boxes.
There's green mailboxes,
which I haven't seen until we had New York has a ton of them.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why that is.
Well, yeah, I just see mail carriers shove a bag or like pull a bag out, and it's like just storage.
So, in a lot of cases, your mail people out here do not have vehicles. So there's a guy
who comes around and
delivers your mail
to those
boxes. So which is kind of nice because that means you're not carrying around a bunch of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all they are. Or sometimes they're in front of businesses, and the businesses will use those for all their fucking like
outgoing.
Like, let's say you're a company that sends out checks to your out-of-state employees.
Yeah.
You'll put them in there. We'll give you a key to put them in there.
I saw a video of these two ne'er-do-wellers. Like it got delivered. One of those green boxes got delivered, and they rated it. And the people were like, "If you have any information, these guys are fucked,
dude." Yeah,
robbing.
because a lot of the times you're just gonna get fucking mail. It's a notice from somebody.
An insane crime to like steal. So,
but no, to be honest with you, I think my job now is way more interesting than the post office. I truly do.
But not as sinister.
Not as sinister.
Now that you work for like a normal blue collar company.
Yeah, not as sinister to me. I mean, I don't think that
there's no Freemason symbology in the back of corner. Like you're like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
there's a weird office that you walk by 364 days a year, but one day of the year, the lights on in that, and you're like, what is going on in there?
That definitely nothing like that happens at my job now. I just think
at
that
the post office, that was like a normal thing. There would just be weird ghosts in the machine.
Like, yeah.
Don't talk to that guy if you see a man floating through the things. Just ignore him. He's been here for 200 years.
It's so funny because, like, I don't know, man. Like, my time in the post office wasn't very, very long.
Can you say how long?
It was 3 years.
Okay,
but like, I really was a good mail carrier. I was truly good.
Yeah,
and
you got the calves to show it.
Thank you. It also comes from being fat. But this kind of ties into a story I was telling on the other podcast that happens.
What are the podcasts?
One of the podcasts that happens in the department. But right towards the end of my time as a mail carrier, it was let me preface this by saying, if you didn't listen to that episode, and I think Mac already, my mom faked her death twice. Did I tell you about that?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, let me go.
No, that's not. We're talking about mail.
This is wrapped into that.
All right, she
tried to fake her death. Well, she did fake her death twice. My mom notoriously is a fucking scammer bitch. And after my dad died, she like had her boyfriend send a letter to my apartment, being like, "Hey, I met your mom in Narcotics Anonymous. I love your mom, but I don't have any money for her funeral. We gotta bury her." Meanwhile, my mom knows I don't love her, and this guy who I don't know, he might not know that, but I was like, I sent him a letter back. I said, "Fuck no, I'm glad she's dead. Like, fuck off, dude. Whatever." And then I don't know, dude. Essentially, I'm working at the post office and I'm doing all this shit, and I got a letter at the post office.
What?
And it's like, hey.
How do you get a letter at the post office?
You can get mail delivered to the post office.
So if you know a mailman, you can just be like, "Hey, he works at this post office."
Yeah.
Because
you shouldn't do that, but you can.
Because that's like another nice thing about the you don't need an address specifically. If you're like, "Hey, I know John. He lives up in a cabin up in Alaska in this zip code area."
Yeah, they'll find it.
That doesn't really exist anywhere else. Other places will be like, "Nah, we can't."
No, dude, we can't do that.
They'll be like, we're gonna track him down and give you the mail."
So in any case, mom sends a letter.
Because I think you could be like, he lives in a red building.
No. If it's a rural enough route, then yeah. So she sends the thing. I get it. It's the same exact letter from another guy. Like 10, 12 years later, being like, "Met your mom in Narcotics Anonymous. I loved her. She's dead though."
So you say she faked her death twice that you know of.
Yeah, she might have been scamming other people. The thing is, I saw her ass walking around.
Well, you were delivering mail?
No. I was back in town, and I saw her outside of like my old like restaurant job, and I was like, "Bitch,
ghost!"
I was doing like a little stosh shift, like a free working shift as like a cook in a place, just because I missed my old job, and I was visiting. And I saw her and I was like, "This bitch is still fucking alive." I was like, "All right, dude." But at the time, though, when I got the letter, I told my superior, I said, "Hey, my mom just died. I want to take my bereavement leave. It's owed to me via the government. We have rights that kind of protect us as workers."
And here's proof.
And here's proof that I didn't really have proof, but...
Well, this letter says it, and you stamped the letter. It's a federal stamp.
Honestly, that was... Okay.
I don't know how the mail legal system works. If you want to copyright something, you write an idea down on a piece of paper and you mail it to yourself.
Yeah, that's actually a great idea.
Because then someone can be like, "No way you copied, no way you came up with that idea." And then you'd be like, "Look, here's a stamped letter from the government."
Yeah.
Saying that
first class mail
that says, "I came up with this idea. Let me open this envelope."
Mm-hmm. In any case, my superior said if I take the day or the bereavement, which is 3 days, I'd get marked as AWOL, and they'd strike me for termination and delay a mail and all this bullshit.
So did you get your union,
I just left.
Your union guy to come?
No, I tried to. I called the head of the union, who notoriously was a dumb fuck. Usually, if you get a job at the post office, if you the postmaster general started out as a mail carrier, you have to start at the bottom. Everybody has to start at the bottom and work their way up. This dumb fuck, our like postmaster for like the head of the union for
postmaster
our shit.
admiral, not the general.
Like that. He was a brigadier or something. I don't know. I don't know where the
first
fuck
officer.
He was on. He was a third class private. I don't fucking know. He just wouldn't have. He got the job because his mom had worked at the post office in the area for like 40 years.
Damn it.
He never carried mail. He never did anything. I don't know how the fuck he got in, because it kind of goes against the whole thing.
Well, that's why people kill people.
Buddy, I was about to fucking kill him. But he advised me, he goes, just take the time off to come back after like Christmas, because that's why they told me I couldn't leave.
Oh,
it was peak season. And they were like, you can't go because it's peak season and people need their fucking Amazons. And I was like, hey, but my mom died. And I, at the time though, you know, deep down in my heart, I was like, maybe I gotta make amends with this bitch.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I gotta do something. But once I saw her, all that shit went out the window. I should have German suplexed her. I should have smashed her head into the concrete right there, dude. But instead, I'm a bitch, and I went back to and I just never went back to the post.
No.
Oh, fuck.
I only got to do it twice.
Okay. I just say it 1,000 more times. But yeah, I went back, and then I immediately applied for the job I have now. They hired me on the spot, and I just kept collecting money from the post office, filing for like sick pay and shit. I filed for like FMLA benefits and shit, and they paid out some of it, so I made like an extra $6,000 on the government.
Nice.
Don't report that, you dumb bitches.
I might believe that too.
Why? Why you think these people would?
Dude, I don't want. I would never mess with the
Sorry,
USPS.
dude. I don't want to. Oh wait, you'd bleep out that I scammed the government for $6,000. That's good. I thought you were trying to do it to protect the people that listen to this podcast, being like, the people who listen to this podcast are fucking crazy, and they're willing to do anything to make Mac happy.
No, I don't think they. I mean, some of them might.
I'd do anything to make you happy.
Thank you. As long as I get my mail, I'm happy. Well, that was very insightful.
I feel like
that was just scratching the surface.
I feel like I said nothing and somehow said a lot.
I feel like that was a good teaser for more.
Yeah.
But we only got.
I'm just saying, if you write out a list of questions, I'll answer them for you, and it could be a more concise thing at some point if you wanted to do that.
A lot of my questions.
Okay.
Well,
I used to pick up. I'm just gonna say I live in. No. This pertains to that because I used to pick up mail from the airport.
Oh shit! So you know what the secret layers, the underground bases, the World Economic Forum secret underground volcano base.
There are weird tunnels down there, and I used to have to take the little mail truck through it, and it was very cool. That's where the most weed came from, because people would be trying to mail their weed to themselves from the airport before they got on the fucking plane. So like I would.
Oh shit! I got all this weed. Is there a post office in the airport?
There used to be. But now they just have the bins, the collections. So you could just put the mail gets picked up from the post office or the airport twice a day. So, and there's lots of weed in there. If you ever see a mail truck driving down Pena Boulevard, it's full of weed. And maybe you should do a heat style hit on it to get the weed from that.
As opposed to buying a bunch from a store because it's legal there.
Dude, do a crime. Stop being lame.
What do they do with all the weed? Do they just burn it?
No, it lives in a room in the GMF, the General Mail Facility. Just like the DLO, the dead letter office is just full of letters that can't be delivered. They just live in a room.
Dead letter office?
Yeah.
Is that like just
dude?
one?
I could keep pulling back the layers of this onion if you want.
No, that's a good teaser. Next time you're in town, we'll keep talking.
Yeah,
that seems like the Indiana Jones room where it's just our best men are looking to deliver that package.
That's right.
How many just secrets are just in letters back there? How many there's proof of aliens, but Just never got
Dude,
addressed.
if the mail didn't get there by one way or another, somebody would get arrested for delay of mail. But a lot of this shit is, I'm sure there are state secrets. I'm sure there are life-shattering confessions in these letters that never made it because
Messages from the serial killers.
Yeah. Just one number off on an address with an unable to forward or like does not live at this address thing written on it, and it keeps going back through the system. So,
one thing my dad would do, I don't know if this is right, was when we got mail from someone else, he would write, "does not live here."
that's the exact thing to do.
And then that would just keep happening over and over and over.
That means just like your carrier here, you have a dog shit carrier.
Yeah, they would
Because
never.
if they're, I mean, I don't want to get too much into the weeds on this because it definitely seems like we're wrapping up here.
That's right.
But when your carrier is notified when somebody moves into the house, they get the slip, like a change of address form.
Yeah, I filled that out.
That comes as an actual slip, a government, like it's on card stock. It's not on fucking paper.
Yeah, I think our carrier is good because they not only they put our names on the front of our mailbox.
They have to because for their assistants, so
they
that way their
labeled it.
assistants know.
We're like, we didn't.
But if they're still delivering the wrong mail to you, like if you're saying that you're getting mail from people who haven't lived here in 6-7 years, they're not that good. They're not that nice. You know what I mean? So they need to get that shit in order. I'll go down there if you want. I'll talk to him.
Sensitive.
I'll talk to him.
Like, hey, I know what you're doing.
I'll talk to him. I'll say something to him, and it might not be very cool what I say.
One last question, then we're
Please,
done.
yeah, go for it.
How do when you get mail delivered to your house now?
Mm-hmm.
Are you just like this fucking guy, or do you talk to your mail person? You're like, I used to be you.
My mail lady knows me, but she's a bitch.
Yeah.
I left her $100 on Christmas because I know how hard her route is, just because her route used to be all industrial buildings and now it's apartment buildings with like 1,000 units each.
Yeah.
So her route got extended to a crazy amount, and when they knock down a building, they put up an apartment. That's still part of your fucking route, and you have to deliver to it. So her route went from having like 400 like boxes on it to having like 6,000 boxes. So she's miserable. I always try and offer her a nice cold drink if I see her. I give her money on Christmas, and she's just an unbelievable fucking cunt to me anytime I try to talk. And I get
understandably.
I get it because the station she works in sucks, but it is also a retirement station. But I try to be a lot more. It's kind of like if you've ever worked in food service or as a cashier, you have to show them that like I'm in the know. I know how shitty your job is in a way.
It doesn't work.
Not out here. It don't. It doesn't work in Denver, I guess either.
I've used to be a cashier, and then I've like sometimes I know the cashier tricks, and I'm just like, oh, I can't even.
Yeah.
This ain't for you.
I try to show them a sense of compassion.
Yeah.
In a way that like maybe they don't see very often because people just want their fucking lotion that they ordered from Amazon instead of going to a store to buy.
They need it now.
I gotta jerk my dick the second I open this box.
I'm horny now, and I need that same day delivery. That's what it's for.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's it. That infinitely fascinating. I hope whoever's listening.
I know it's fascinating to you. The thing is, I'm worried that like the people who once again I shouldn't give a shit because who the fuck cares. The people who are listening to this probably do not give a single dog shit about the post office. I know it's
not my
fascinating.
problem.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Actually, it's not our fucking problem, dude.
If you listen to this whole thing and you didn't learn a trick or something, or have any like, oh, that is interesting. This is not for you.
Yeah. I mean, we could have just talked about Joe is hungry for fucking.
Yeah, we could have talked about.
We could have talked about the downfall of Joe is hungry for an hour and a half if you really wanted that.
Some YouTube channel or something I saw.
Yeah,
but that's a different time. All right, thank you, Matt.
My pleasure.
If you liked this episode, comment below.
Don't you say a fucking word.
Like, subscribe, comment.
You get what you get. You don't get upset.
Be nice to your mail person, unless they suck. Then be mean to them. Don't
be mean enough that they bring a gun to your house.
Has that happened? I guess it does. Everything happens.
If a mailman gets killed out in the street, they report on it. If a mailman gets killed in an office, it doesn't make it to the news. It's a tragedy when it's on the street.
Thank you for listening to Cowboy Boys. Go to cowboyboys.store to buy a shirt. Go to patreon.com/cowboyboys for more episodes. Thank you, Matt. Very fascinating. I love the mail.
I bet you do.
I love male men, and strong male, masculine.
Absolutely, dude.
Men
You're
with
sitting
their
out here looking at
shirts
my
off.
calves, salivating, dude.